This is 50 short horror stories for adults. Sleep with one eye open tonight. Written by Yash and performed by Yash. Story 1. The Midnight Caller. Sarah's phone buzzed at exactly 12:03 a.m., the harsh blue light cutting through her darkened bedroom like a blade. She'd been lying there for hours, staring at the ceiling, her mind churning with the familiar cocktail of grief and insomnia that had become her nightly ritual since David died. 10 years. 10 long years since the car accident that took her husband, and still she found herself reaching for his side of the bed in those drowsy moments between sleep and consciousness. The phone continued its insistent buzzing. Sarah groaned and fumbled for it, squinting at the screen. The number was blocked, but something about the call felt different. Urgent. She swiped to answer, her voice thick with exhaustion. Hello. Static crackled through the speaker, followed by a sound that made her blood freeze in her veins. It was breathing. Slow, labored breathing that she recognized with every fiber of her being. It was the same rhythm she'd listened to for 8 years of marriage, the same pattern she'd memorized during countless nights lying beside him. David. The name escaped her lips in a whisper, barely audible. The breathing stopped. Then, through the static, came a voice that shattered her world all over again. Sarah, you have to listen to me. It was David's voice, unmistakably his, with that slight rasp from the cigarettes he'd quit 3 years before his death. You're in danger. Sarah's hands shook so violently she nearly dropped the phone. This wasn't possible. This couldn't be happening. She'd attended his funeral, watched them lower his casket into the ground, felt the first shovelful of dirt hit the polished wood with a sound that still echoed in her nightmares. This isn't real, she whispered, but even as she said it, she knew she was lying to herself. She knew that voice better than her own. Sarah, please. David's voice came through again, clearer now, filled with an urgency that sent ice through her veins. I don't have long. The connection is weak. You have to get out of the house. Now. David, you're dead. I saw you die. Tears streamed down her face as she spoke to the ghost of her husband through a device that should only connect the living. I know, sweetheart. I know. But death isn't the end, and I've been watching over you. Someone is coming for you tonight. Someone who's been watching you, learning your patterns, waiting for the perfect moment. The line crackled with interference, and for a terrifying moment, Sarah thought she'd lost the connection. Then David's voice returned, fainter but still audible. He's been in your house before. 3 times this month. He knows you take sleeping pills. He knows you sleep alone. He knows about the spare key under the garden gnome. Sarah's blood turned to ice water. She hadn't told anyone about that key, not even her sister. She'd hidden it there after David's death, a small security measure that made her feel slightly less vulnerable in the big, empty house they'd bought together. How do you know about the key? She asked, but somewhere deep in her soul, she already knew the answer. If David could somehow call her from beyond death, he could watch her too. Because I never left you, Sarah. I've been here, trying to protect you, but I'm not strong enough to stop what's coming. You have to run. Right now. As if summoned by his words, Sarah heard the soft click of the front door opening downstairs. The sound was so quiet, she might have missed it if her entire body wasn't hypertuned to every noise in the darkness. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she heard the gentle creak of the hardwood floor under someone's careful footsteps. He's inside, David's voice whispered through the phone. Back bedroom window. There's a tree branch. You remember how I used to sneak out that way when we were dating? Sarah remembered. She also remembered how David had fallen from that same branch during one of his midnight escapes, spraining his ankle and waking her parents. But that was 20 years ago, when they were young and reckless and
Sample complete. Ready to continue?